Hello. Straight in there with um this is pickups video. Pickups video 96. Um, this was this. I actually made a version of this a couple of days ago, but I've been having a bit of trouble with iMovie. The recording it was quite stuttering. It kept dropping frames, and a couple of occasions when I'd saved the or finished recording and watched it back. The audio was out of sync, and I had to sort of realign it myself. So I thought it was because I've been recording slightly later in the day, and when there's low light, the camera is a bit iffy, And it turns out no, it was actually sort of a software thing, and sort of the last version of this, the audio was properly out of sync, and it was sort of stuttery all over the place. I had to realign it. Watched it back, wasn't really too enamoured with the video anyway, so I thought, I don't know whether I'm going to keep this. I thought I'll try again tomorrow. Turned the computer off, went to bed. Thought hopefully the light will be better if I record early in the morning. Got up, tried to open iMovie. iMovie was already open, but it wasn't responding. And turns out there's something really dodgy wrong with iMovie. I didn't know what was wrong with it. Didn't know how to work it out. So it was screwed. So I had to. I thought I didn't know how to sort it out, because it was obviously not something you could. My when it comes to IT and things like that, my skills is pretty much turn it off, hope it works again in the morning, and that didn't happen. And I think I'd not updated from Mavericks to Yosemite, because obviously it's an iMac. I thought I knew there were updates. There are updates that were only you can only install if you had Yosemite updates to iMovie. So I'll try that. So I went through the whole process. And I had trouble closing down iMovie. When you have to apply the updates, you have to close down conflicting. Bollocks! It was just. Oh, the thing is, I mean, it's sorted out. I think it's sorted itself out now, because it looks to be okay. I was noticing dropping frames when I was recording in the past. It looks to be okay out there, but it was just sort of like the end of a long line of just a multitude of ball aches from last week. I went to IKEA to buy some frames. So I'm going to put a couple of drawings in some frames for my nieces. They ain't getting toys. They ain't getting Moshi Monsters. They're not getting Sylvanian Families or Dora the Explorer or whatever they get now. They're getting whether they like it or not, they're getting some drawings and some cheap IKEA frames. So I went to IKEA. And found these frames. I hate IKEA. It's a bloody horrible place. Just, feel like I'm being manipulated. It sort of lulls you into, it hypnotises you. Got my frames and just made my way through to the checkout. Stood in the line, waiting for ages. There's a woman behind me, joined me behind me, and this really nice Kiwi woman actually, and we were both having a moan about IKEA. Eventually, it came to my turn, and I had to buy a bag. I asked her, she goes, "Do I need to buy my bag? Because I've been to IKEA in a long time. Do I need to buy a bag, or will they give me one for free?" And she went, "You're joking, are you?" So, okay, I have to buy a bag. So I had this pile of these 3 box frames and this bag on top. I had to pay with my bank card. Paid my bank card, sort of said goodbye to the woman, and then left. And I was on the bus. I was walking. I had to go and walk to the bus stop, and I wanted to find a good sort of empty spot where I could put my frames in this new bag that I bought. And in the end, I just walked all the way to the bus stop. Bus wasn't there, but I eventually got to the bus stop. I could put my frames in my bag. Before the bus came, I was sort of found my wallet, found my Oyster card. I thought I'd just check in my wallet. I opened my wallet, the bank card wasn't there. Bollocks. Oh, normally I have to sort of make sort of a certain contingencies for things like that. I have to sort of always put them in the same place, and if they're not in the same place, I start to get a bit tense. Right. Sometimes I absentmindedly put them somewhere, like in the bottom of my bag. Had to fish around, wasn't there. Walked all the way back to IKEA, past the charity collectors who were collecting outside the the checkouts. Went to the woman whose checkout I've been through and said, "Excuse me, did I leave my bank card here?" And she went, "No, sorry, you didn't." Oh, brilliant. Walked back out, and obviously walked back out past the charity collectors, and because they'd already tried to sort of reel me in. I said, "Sorry, no, I'm in a rush. I've lost my bank card." And they went, "Was it a Barclays card?" I went, "Well, yes, it was." The charity collectors, which I'd sort of blown off, go away sort of thing, as you do. No, I'd always do it politely. I don't do it I'm not rude. I just sort of smile and say, "Sorry, I'm in a rush," which I've done. Little did I know, the woman was actually trying to call me back because I dropped my bank card. And she explained to me when I said, "Oh, I've actually lost my bank card." She went, "Really? It's a bank?" "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, I tried to call you back because you dropped it," and they'd handed it in at the customer services. But then, I was slightly sly of them because they thought this one particular guy used he saw that I was grateful for the fact that he'd saved my bank card and I hadn't lost it, and especially this time, just what a ball ache this time of year. And he decided that he was going to use it as his hook for his charity collector spiel. They were Save the Children. I was like, I don't really need this, but I had to, for out of politeness, and I was grateful as well. I had to sit and just humour him, And in the end, I thought, "Sorry, mate, but can I just go and get my bank card?" And went to the customer services. So, "Excuse me, I think I've left my bank. Somebody handed my bank card in." I went, "Just go have a look." Came back. She had something in her hand. She goes, "What's the name?" I went, "It's McCarthy, Owen McCarthy." She went, "It's lucky it's Christmas, isn't it?" And handed, fucking shat my pants. And then from that point on, I was just sort of felt obliged to give the charity collector my bank details. And then I had to explain to him, "Sorry, mate, but honestly, I'm probably the worst person you could have sort of asked because there ain't nothing in my bank for you to have." But not only that, totally different story. I thought I'd lost my Christmas decorations. It's been less than a year since I put them away. Oh, that's a bit droppy. I saw that. I hope my movie's okay. Yeah, it's been less than a year since I put them away. And they disappeared for 2 days. I found them sort of buried under a pile of shit in my garage. And I thought, okay. And when I was sorting out my computer yesterday, I'll put my decorations up, I'll put my tree up. Because I'm late. Couldn't find my tree stand. Where the fuck's my tree stand? It's just one thing after the other. And all right, I won't put my tree up. I'll put my wreath up. I went outside, totally forgetting that the timber post on the outside of my front door it was painted. Sort of repainted it in the early spring or late spring, early spring. So there was no nail. Oh shit! Got to go and get a hammer. Eventually found my hammer after loads of hunting, but haven't got a nail. Didn't have a fucking nail. One thing after another. Sometimes you've got loads of nails, other times you've got no nails at all. So I've got all my grievances on a little note. My eBay stuff was sorted. Turns out that buyer was a piss taker. He was a piss taker. I had to go through the whole process and eventually wait the minimum 4 days, and then he never got back to me. So I relisted it, and he obviously got a check against his account. He's sort of non-paying bidder buyer mark against his account. Going a bit white again, a bit older, fade to grey. Is it fade to grey, or is it? It's is it Life on Mars? Bowie video. Yeah, I relisted it, and I relisted the same price that it was. Mario Kart Double Dash and a Zelda double pack. Released it for the same price, just PayPal this time, and it sold within half an hour. But it was bought by. I've got a feeling this sound's going to be out of sync when I look at this back. It's going to be totally out of sync. I don't think iMovie is okay, but anyway, yeah, relisted it. It sold within the hour. For the same price, and that was bought by a reseller. Don't know how he's going to make his money because these prices weren't ridiculously expensive. But don't know how it's going to work. Don't know how he's going to work it. How he's going to make his money. Don't know. But and I thought my telly had broken. I had to get a bloke out for 2 days. I didn't have a picture. On top of that, don't need it in the lead up to Christmas. Oh bollocks! And it all culminated yesterday with iMovie ballsing up, me having to somehow work it out, how to sort it out, and I'm still not convinced it's 100% sorted. But there's my little list of grievances. I'm just all in all, I think I'm the sort of person who these things affect more than they should do. I think there are people, generally just my gut reaction is, oh fuck no, it feels like the end of the world, just only for a split second for like an hour or so. But then you think about it, and the next day it's fine. You sort of adjust, sort it out. But just the initial hour or so, it just feels like doom laden. But anyway, pickups. 12 minutes of bollocks. But onto the pickups. First two were a charity shop top up. I had to pay using my bank card because it was a minimum £5. So I'll top it up with something else, and it's 2 good DVDs. These are the only 2 DVDs. It is really droppy. I spotted that. Bollocks. That was the telltale sign before. Anyway, I'll carry on. 2 Days in Paris by Julie Delpy. She stars. It's her film. Really good. Excellent. He's American, she's French, and they go to visit her parents in Paris, and it feels really real. It's funny. It was a bit like the Richard Linklater sort of before sunrise, before sunset films, but funny and more play for laughs. They're both quite wordy, talky, but that one's more for laughs, straight up. Definitely one for laughs is Bridesmaids. This was $1.49. That was 99p. I had to make up £2, so pay an extra 50p. Yeah. If you've not seen it, by the cover you might think that's a bit girly. What are you doing with that? But no, it's really good fun. It's really raucous. Lots of toilet humor and stuff. It's not like a straight up sort of girly sort of Jennifer Aniston type rom-com. It's better than that. But yeah, there you go. Well, onto the games. I'll get around to the ones that I'd actually purchased to top up. I bought the DVDs to top up. They're coming along in a minute. Something to top up. Top up an Amazon purchase. I bought a present. Spent $9.99 on it. But if you buy stuff from Amazon, you have to spend at least £10 to get free postage. And it was $9.99, so somehow I had to find 1p. And this was the cheapest thing on my wish list. It's a SNES Super Famicom composite cable. So, because the RGB Scott that I bought ain't shielded. It's a bit buzzy. Not so bad. I probably might not have noticed it. Otherwise, if people hadn't said, oh, you might get a bit buzzy. But no, I've got this. Obviously, the quality of the picture won't be as good, but it will be less buzzy. So it will tide me over for when I can get a proper good old shielded RGB Scott. Right, what first? This little beauty, little Wario Land 2. That says £1.99. It's from Cash Generator in Watford. Yeah, I mean, when you see things like this, it feels slightly obliged. I mean, I didn't really leave it. I wanted that anyway. The label's knacked, but yeah. Well, you can't really leave that behind for £1.99, can you? Never played it. I didn't mind the fact that the label was a bit ballsed, but yeah. Most of this stuff, most of this stuff is roughly around about £1.99. I think I've got one purchase, which is an internet purchase, which is more than that. But I think generally, actually, that's more expensive. All the rest is about £1 or 99p. So this was 99p in a charity shop. Magical Star Sign. It's a DS RPG. Touchscreen. I think the combat's turn-based, but most of the controls are touchscreen. So I'm not too, I'm sort of aware of it. It was on my list. It looks it's nice and colourful and attractive, and it's supposed to have a sort of a nice set of characters and nicely realised, nice sort of set of eccentric, attractive characters, but touchscreen controls. And also, when it says star sign, that does actually mean star signs as in signs of the zodiac, which obviously is all bollocks, and I'm not really into that sort of thing. But slightly put me off having looked into it after I bought it. Should have looked into it beforehand, really. No, I probably would have got it anyway. But yeah, it's Magical Star Sign. It's an RPG based around signs of the zodiac. Right, these came with the 2 DVDs. These were in the charity shop. Yeah, these were in the charity shop. What's first? This one's first. All 99p. I went in there. I went into one charity shop, actually. I went into one charity shop. There's a woman in there. She had a game in her hand. It was obviously an Xbox game, so it had a green case. And I just did a sneaky peek over like you do, because I like to see what I'm missing out on. And it was only a Conflict Desert Storm. It was a best of, so not too bothered. So I looked at shelves, nothing else there, and left. And she was off paying. I went to the next charity shop. From the door, I spied some good stuff on the shelf, Wii cases and a few other things. Bonus. I was standing there and I got a few that I wanted when this woman came in, and she spied in my hand. She spied Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which is all complete. She spied Mario Party 8 in my hands, and this. I think this was on the front actually. It's a Game of the Year edition of Call of Duty 2, which actually I do have, but for some reason, or some weird impulse in me. Bought it again because I was given it by Alex Plutonic. Actually, I've been playing Alex's version recently before I bought this, and it's really good fun. Really enjoy it. But for some reason, I felt compelled to have a have a UK version as well, because the one Alex sent me is obviously it's region free. So I had these in my hands. So I was like going perusing and going, yeah, I'd had them. I pretty much laid claim to them. She came in over to obviously look at the DVDs, and she was obviously after games, and I heard her go, she went, shit. I went, yes. Oh, I thought, going, in your face, woman. She looked like someone's mum, though. She didn't look like proper sort of game collector. She looked like someone's mum. She was like middle-aged. I thought, what are you doing buying video games? But she obviously saw what I had, and she'd missed out. She knew she'd missed out. But yeah. Then I heard her talking to mate. She goes, "Oh, I've got a Wii machine at home. I forgot I've got a Wii machine at home." And her mate went, "A Wii machine? What's that? A Wii machine? Yeah, a Wii machine, a game machine." So obviously, she was calling it a Wii machine. So she obviously wasn't too up. Sort of, I don't know. She's probably buying presents for her kids. I don't know, like Xbox games. But anyway, yeah, these two are pretty much trading. Oh fuck! Sorry, I'm not the mic. These two are trading really. I mean, there were other. I left Lego Batman because Lego Batman I probably wouldn't have played, but then they're not for playing anyway. So I probably should have got Lego Batman. But I thought, turns out Lego Batman's worth a £5, and these are only 99p each. And this is a tenner in CX, and Mario and Sonic is £4, so it's 14 quid. I'm going to put it towards some. I've got my eye on some stuff for CX, but it's just a good way to afford it, trading up. But I should have got not a twat. Why didn't I get Lego Batman as well? Because that would have been like 19 quid worth of trading for £2.97. What a knob! But I mean, this one's not complete anyway. It's not its manual, so it's not a keeper. I might have kept it otherwise. I don't really know. But then, like I think I've said in the past, I've played Mario Party games on my own, and it's a miserable experience. But yeah, and this one's got a load of extra stuff in it. It doesn't look like it's been used. It's got like a disc in it's not been used, not been opened. And I'm guessing all these sort of codes aren't used either. So weird, but no, it's a really good game actually. I've not played this version, but I've played the one Alex sent me a while back. But right, not long now. This was the IKEA losing card day. I was feeling a bit smug because I'd had quite a good day up to that point, and it all came crashing down with a momentary hours worth of panic. But this is after the IKEA debacle. It's because it was in Edmonton, and I went to after that. I thought I'm going to console myself with a trip to my favourite branch of cash converters, which have been not so good of late, but they came through again with a couple of good PS2 games. First one being Resident Evil Dead Aim. I bet you're thinking, hang on, haven't you already got that? Or people who watch my videos, or even can be asked. Probably not really, but no. And you'd be right. I'd say yes, I did have it. But I traded it in because I needed some credit on computer exchange for something else. And this one fell by the wayside. And if I don't do that, if I buy a game and then trade it in without having properly played it, I always feel a bit guilty and feel obliged to probably give it a good crack. So this will be staying. This won't be passed on. And probably the best of the two, Resident Evil Survivor 2, Code Veronica. Don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. This is relatively pricey on eBay. You don't often see it around too much. And this is about £10 worth of game. But yeah, the PS1 game Survivor is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Because it's a bit rubbish, a bit ropey in places. But I maintain it's not. But everybody else says otherwise. But openly, this is as good. I think it's like a free roaming light gun game, which that's like the best first person shooter you could ever get, isn't it? A free roaming light gun game. Why aren't all first person shooters like light gun games? It should be, surely. Surely that's the zenith of the evolution of first person shooters. It's sort of like you have a light gun and you can control your movements through the gun. But, yeah, I was chuffed with them, and they sort of maybe I felt slightly better about myself. Not better, that's not the right word. Slightly more relaxed and sort of chilled out after that, having seen these, having got the bank card, and I think there was others actually. There was other. It looked like somebody was a bit of a fan of light gun games because they had and Resident Evil games. They had like Vampire Night, I think, and a couple of Resident Evil Outbreak, I think. But yeah, it looked like some of them had obviously been traded at the same time. But right, this came before. This was one of the reasons I was a bit smug. This came before the IKEA incident. It's not much of a find, but it was interesting all the same. It's just basically a multi-tap in a box with pans. Multi-tap in a box. Yeah. Although that's going to obviously have to come off, and for some reason, in recent years, cash converters have been using labels. Using labels with industrial strength glue. Like weapons grade glue strength. So that's going to have steamed off. But yeah, I do have a multi-tap. I had a multi-tap when I was at university, bought it, and I think it came in a box as well, but I don't know where the box has gone. So now I've got two multi-taps, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to hook them up. I'm going to hook up both multi-taps. So I'm going to have 8 players, potential 8 players. I can play 8 players on something like Micro Machines, and then I'll hook up all the controllers and I'll sit, hoping people turn up, and I'll sit on my own with 8 controllers all plugged in, hoping people turn up, but then they never do. No, I'll sit on my lonesome and play Mario Kart, Mario Kart, Micro Machines, all my lonesome, with potential 8 players. Yeah, Multitap for a quid. Thought, yeah, why not? There's games that can use 8 players, and might as well have a Multitap. Final purchase. This was the one online purchase. Came from Amazon. Actually, this is another top up. I bought another present. It was a CD. It was £5.50 or something. So I needed £4.50. I think, to get free postage, because I'm tight. I'll happily admit I'm tight. I like free stuff. Otherwise it's a £4. Ridiculous. So I looked on my wish list, saw something I really wanted, and I'd still had a bit of money from eBay sales. So I was sort of quite confident in I wasn't overspending, and it's Dungeoneer by Atlas. I think it's by Atlas. It's developed by Index Digital Media. I think it's distributed. Anyway, it's really quite in-depth strategy RPG, US only released. Amazon, you buy it through Amazon. They sell it. I think it's through Amazon. Is it? I think no, maybe it's not through Amazon. It's someone else, but it's honoured by Amazon, and but it's free postage. I think. Yeah, free postage. Up to 10, obviously. Up to 10 quid. This is £7.49, so brand new. Looks still all sealed, so it's brand new, and it's a relatively late release. 2012 this was released in, and the only review I've been able to find, because there's none on GameSpot, and I don't think there's any Metacritic reviews, because obviously being quite a late release, was Classic Game Room on YouTube, and he loved it. He said it's really complicated and probably not for beginners, but then at the same time, you can generally predict what he's going to like purely based on the sort of content. If it's a shooter, anything with monsters and things blowing up, you can generally predict that he's going to like it. Not always, but often. And he loved this. But it looks nice and colourful. Not that you're going to see anything from the back, but it's called Dungeoneer. There's a couple of others I'd like. There's another one called Yggdra Union, I think. Weird name. Yggdra Union on the PSP. And Nights in the Nightmare. I'd like those two. I think they're all relatively late PSP releases, I'm not sure. But yeah, Dungeoneer. So there you go. That's £7.49, so they've still probably got some, so worth checking out. Right, I'm going to finish this video. I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, the sound isn't all knacked and screwed, which means that there's something chronic wrong with my iMovie. I'll hopefully try and upload this, even if I'll tweak it and upload this. But fingers crossed, iMovie's okay. Otherwise, if you don't hear from me for a while, that's why. It means that I've had to sort it out. Potentially had to send my computer away to get looked at. Because the likelihood of me probably sorting it out myself is slim. I'm just gonna muddle. Generally, I muddle through. But yeah, 28 minutes. All right, thanks for watching. If I can get all this shit sorted, and there's nothing wrong with iMovie, there will be more videos coming up soon. Probably some PS1 videos, and maybe a visit from Santa. I don't know. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So that'll be before Christmas, obviously. How long was today? What's today? 17th? 8 days. Yeah. So, all right, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Yeah. Bye.